The floor let go while we were still on it. 1 second my crew was working a hose line in the smoke, and the next the world dropped and my firefighter went down through it. And I keyed my radio and screamed a mayday in a voice I did not recognize as my own. We got him out. He lived. But I will hear that mayday in my own voice for the rest of my life. And 2 weeks later, in a room at headquarters, they told me it was my call that put him there. I was the company officer that night. Engine 7, my crew, my line, my people inside that building. And now a firefighter was hurt, and there was an investigation, and everyone in that room had already settled on the shape of the answer. The officer took her crew inside. The officer held them in too long. My crew, my call, so it was my call that got him hurt. 17 years I've been on the job. 17 years, and I have never lost a firefighter, because bringing my crew home is the entire job. An officer who reads the conditions and pulls her people when the building turns is an officer whose crew gets old. I was careful about my people to the point that the young ones used to joke about it. Careful. That was the whole thing I sold. Careful was the only thing I ever sold. And in the time it takes a floor to fail, I was the officer who got her own firefighter hurt. I want to tell you about the man who put me there. His name was Whitlock, and he was the incident commander, the battalion chief running that fire from the outside. The IC runs the fire ground. He sees the whole building, he sets the strategy, and the crews inside work his plan and report what they see. And that night Whitlock wanted that building. It was a commercial structure, a big one, and going defensive, pulling everybody out and fighting it from the outside, means you've lost it, and he did not want to lose it. So he ordered an interior attack, and he held us in it. And the building was turning. I could feel it, the heat banking down, the smoke pushing, the conditions going bad the way they go bad right before they kill you. And I called it. I got on the radio and I told command that conditions were deteriorating and I wanted to withdraw my crew. Once. Then again. Whitlock told me to hold my position and continue the attack. He wanted the interior held. And I called a third time, and he ordered us to hold, and we held, because that is the discipline. The crew works the plan, and you do not freelance on a fire ground. And while we were holding the position, he ordered us to hold. The floor failed. And the second my firefighter was out and breathing, Whitlock's story was already forming. He did not tell them he'd held an interior attack past the point conditions called for evacuation. He told the department, and then he told the investigators, that the company officer kept her crew inside too long and made the tactical error that got her firefighter hurt. He pointed at me. At the officer who was inside. Here is what that costs an officer like me. It is not just the rank, though it's that too, of finding that my decision injured a firefighter takes the bugles off my collar and can take the job. It's that they would carve into the record that I was the officer who got a firefighter hurt, and there is no worse thing you can say about a company officer, and it is a thing you carry into every firehouse for the rest of your life, even after they clear you. 17 years of bringing everybody home, erased into its opposite. I drove home that night a 41-year-old woman who'd been told she might lose the job and the rank she'd given her life to, for an order I had begged command to let me refuse. My kid asked me why I was crying at the kitchen table. I told her a friend at work got hurt, and someone said it was my fault, and that I was going to prove it wasn't. I said it out loud, so I'd have to go do it. My firefighter, the one who went down, he knew. He'd heard me call to withdraw and heard command order us to hold. But he was loyal, and he was hurt, and the department wanted a clean story, and I was not going to make an injured firefighter carry my defense on his back. This wasn't going to get fixed by whose account the chief's office preferred. It was going to get fixed by the thing on that fireground that records every order and every mayday and doesn't care who wears the white helmet. Because here is what Whitlock forgot, the way these people always forget the one thing. The fireground is recorded. Every radio transmission is captured and time-stamped. Every order, every report, every mayday, in the actual voices. Our air packs log telemetry. The accountability system tracks who was where and who was running low, and the command channel and the dispatch timeline log every decision and every benchmark command called. The radio does not care about saving the building, and it does not care that Whitlock is the chief. It just keeps every word and exactly when it was said and in whose voice. So through the department's serious injury investigation, and with my union pushing, we pulled the recordings. The fireground radio traffic. The telemetry. The command timeline. And we put them on one clock, the minutes before that floor failed, laid out to the second. The radio had me. It had me calling that conditions were deteriorating. It had me requesting to withdraw my crew, once, twice, 3 times. And it had Whitlock, in his own voice, ordering us to hold the position and continue the attack, each time overriding me. The telemetry showed my crew holding where they'd been ordered to hold, not freelancing. And when the floor went, the recording had my mayday and my rescue actions, immediate and correct. The fireground had listened to that whole fire. And it said the officer called to pull her crew 3 times, and the incident commander ordered them to stay. They held the injury review in a conference room at headquarters. The fire chief was there. The state fire investigator was there. Whitlock was there, in his dress uniform, still sure that a chief's word beats a lieutenant's, the way it usually does. My rep put the radio traffic and the command timeline up on one clock, and we didn't argue. We played the minutes. My first call to withdraw. Whitlock's order to hold. My second. Hold. My third. Hold. And then the floor and my mayday. The investigator asked Whitlock one question. He asked him why, when his interior officer requested to withdraw her crew 3 times, the order each time was to hold the position. Whitlock didn't have an answer because it was on the tape in his own voice. My firefighter, hearing the radio back me up, said out loud from his chair that we'd been ordered to hold. And I watched it land on Whitlock in front of the chief and the investigator. The moment he understood that the fireground had been recording the entire time, and the radio doesn't want to save a building and doesn't care who's in command. They cleared me completely. My rank was never really in danger once the radio traffic was in front of the investigator. The recording had me trying to pull my crew and being ordered to hold. I went back to my company, back to my crew, with my bugles and the back pay, and a finding on the record that the company officer acted correctly and the injury resulted from an order to hold the interior against deteriorating conditions. The department reinforced the thing that matters most on a fireground, that the interior crew's report of conditions carries, and an officer inside has the authority to withdraw her people when the building turns, no matter who's running command. My firefighter recovered and came back to work. He still rides with me. And Whitlock was removed from command, faced his own review, and answered for holding crews in a building that was killing them. The call heat tried to hang on me. I still ride the officer's seat. Same crew, same discipline, and I still call to withdraw the instant a building turns, and I do not wait 3 times anymore. I have learned to trust what my own eyes and the recording will later prove. And sometimes at the kitchen table at the firehouse, the crew loud around me and everybody accounted for, I think about how the whole time they were calling me the officer who got her firefighter hurt. The thing that was going to save me was the fireground itself, recording every order in every voice. I built 17 years on bringing my crew home. It turned out the radio had been keeping that record right alongside me the whole time.